Hey, John Sonmez from SimpleProgrammer.com. I've got a really interesting question today. At first I was like, wow, this is, never have considered this problem, never thought this was an issue, but this question I think it applies to more than just this one particular issue. So I'm going to read this question here, and so here we go. So it says, "Hey John, thank you so much for your honest insights and unapologetic view on software development, careers, and life in general. You must be an inspiration for a lot of geeks out there, and I'm certainly one of them. I would greatly appreciate your perspective on my position. Despite many attempts at learning, I find myself unable to drive a vehicle due to a lack of attention. This is frustrating in many ways since I need my independence and I don't want to be a burden to anyone. Moreover, French research centers are being moved out of the cities, and I graduated from an applied mathematics master. For this reason, I chose to take a 9-to-5 job in a very nice place where I can do everything within a 20-minute walk radius, beach included, and grew accustomed to the standard of living despite an uninteresting dead-end job. As you said, a career needs some specialization for which employers are inclined to hire, in addition to giving us a sense of control on life. This is where I struggle, since I don't see any specialization on a market large enough to be picky about the neighborhood. While I do have an opportunity to maybe work on computer vision for a New York startup, it seems to me that this market is small and risky. High recruiter expectations, tools being incorporated into APIs any developer can use. Curiously, this lack of attention also results in my being able to write extremely complex code while struggling at understanding and memorizing large software code functionality, a balance I would now trade for the reverse in a blink of an eye, given how complexity is increasing is judged as undesirable. Thank you for reading me. Best regards." So, okay, this is kind of a weird problem. Obviously, you know this. Driving a car. I've never heard of anyone not having the attention to drive a car and that preventing them from driving a car. Not making fun of you, just it's a weird problem. But I think that and I emailed a little bit about this, but essentially, I'm trying to remember the Greek orator. Someone will post this in the comments. Who knows? I'll have to look it up later. I meant to look it up before I answer this, but anyway, there was this famous Greek orator who basically he had a speech impediment. He had basically, because of this, he sort of like, this guy took advantage of him, and he lost a lot of his inheritance and fortune and was kind of shamed. So what he did was he went into seclusion. I believe he shaved like a side of his head in order to make it so he was unpresentable, so he couldn't really go out in public, and to remind him every day of his commitment. And he would walk along the beach with the waves sort of roaring, and he'd put pebbles into his mouth and then recite as loudly as he could text, right? And he did this, I think, for a number of years, until he actually became excellent, had an excellent voice, could project his voice, could speak very clearly, right? He became an excellent orator. So that's kind of the advice that I would have for you with the attention thing, right? I mean, because this affects more than driving. You said it's with the programming that you can write complex code, but you can't understand a large code base because you don't have the attention to do it. So you need to develop attention. Some people would say that the ADD, attention deficit disorder, or hyperactivity. Let's forget about labels. Let's forget about medications for now. Let's talk about what you can actually do. You can actually work on this, right? So if your primary goal right now, it seems like the biggest thing that's holding you back is this inability to keep your attention span. And yeah, I've sort of had this problem in the past, but regardless, it doesn't matter about the specific problem. I think it's the specific actions that you take, right? So put your focus on this. Think about different trainings, different things that you could do that would focus your attention. See if you can set a timer. I would think of different exercises, like set a timer and and like read a code base for 10 minutes straight, and you have to focus on that. If any other thoughts come in your mind, you're gonna blank them out and go back to the code base, trying to understand it. Do exercises that will develop your attention. If you want to do it with the driving too, practice driving undistracted, focusing, maybe race car driving games where it really requires your attention to think about what's happening and to focus on winning the race. That might be a good thing to do. Sit still and try. Meditation might help. I'm kind of throwing things out here because I haven't really given. I'm not working on the problem of focusing my attention, but I'm sure you can come up with exercise, right? You're going to know your own weaknesses, and when you see the weakness in your attention, what is the thing that's distracting you? What is stopping you? Look for drills and exercises that you can make up and do and practice that are going to focus your attention, right? I mean, heck, maybe you're not even paying attention to this video right now at this point because I'm at 5 minutes. But there's a good chance that you are probably focused because this is addressing something that's important to you. So maybe you need to find how you can, suck in your attention to something that you can make things seem really important to you. Be extra careful, right? If I had the problem with the driving, I think I would put together a process rules that I would follow, ways that I would act, to make sure that I'm, that I have a script that I'm following as I'm driving. I'm going to do this. I'm always going to put my hands like this. I'm always going to be looking forward and then look right. I'm being kind of crazy here, but yeah, that's really what you have to do is focus on this. Look for ways to overcome this weakness. See if you can make it a strength. See if you can become, and a lot of times, just like that orator. Again, don't know his name. I'll have to look that up, but he took his greatest weakness and made it into his greatest strength. He was one of the best orators of all time, and often, actually, just wrote a blog post about this, about how your weaknesses can become your greatest strength. Sometimes a strength is a bad thing, but use that. Think about it. I mean, really, I'd encourage you. You can become someone who has a exceptionally high attention span if you choose to do that, and it sounds like it would be a really good choice for you, given that you're actually handicapped by this, not being able to drive, not having your independence, and for your career as well. So hopefully that helps. Again, good question. This is an interesting problem, and I think it is widely applicable. If you have a glaring weakness that is holding you back, focus on that thing and see, come up with drills, come up with the ways that you can overcome that, and eventually you will. Eventually it'll become a strength. Well, that's it for this video. If you like this channel, don't forget to subscribe, and I will talk to you again next time. Take care.